So I just got back from a site visit on TAHUEHUETO, the mine we're building, and we are building Mexico's next mid-tier mining company. As this slide shows you, two mines. One is CAMPO MORADO. This was a Hunter Dickinson project that Nearstar purchased. We purchased it from Nearstar a few years back and have put it back into production and are making good money. That's on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is our TAHUEHUETO project. This is a epithermal gold system. We're building a mine right now, a 1,000 ton a day operation, and we should be up in operation near the end of this year. Forward-looking statements. Obviously, everyone here is talking about forward-looking performance, so you can read that at your leisure. So TAHUEHUETO is up in northwestern Durango, shown there. Both of these projects we own 100%. CAMPO MORADO is down in the state of Guerrero. TAHUEHUETO is going to be an excellent mine. Average gold payable on an annual basis, 25,000 ounces. Silver, about 400,000 ounces. We'll be producing base metals as well, so on a gold equivalent basis with all metals, should be around 40 to 45,000 ounces on an annual basis. Our current reserves gives us a 9 or 10 year mine life. We have excellent exploration potential. We have M&I resources that could extend that life to 20 years, and we believe we can really grow this project over the next 2 to 3 years, double or triple the size of what we're building right now. At CAMPO MORADO, this is a VMS, volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit. It's had production in the past with Farallon Mining, Nearstar. We brought it back into production and are doing quite well there right now. It's currently the 6th largest zinc producer in Mexico. We have producing around 2,000 tons, 2,200 tons per day on an average basis. We produced 21 million pounds of zinc in the first half of this year. We're on track to produce over 33 million pounds of zinc throughout the rest of this year. Low all-in sustaining costs. We've got the project producing very well. We've dropped down our cost. We're producing all-in sustaining costs at about 77 cents per zinc equivalent pound. That was achieved in Q2. We're getting ready to release our Q3 numbers, and they should be similar. Project costs, 48 cents per pound just for the project costs, C1 cash costs. So this is becoming, with current prices of base metals and especially zinc, this is becoming a very profitable mine, and we're making probably $2 million on a monthly basis moving forward, and we expect to continue that throughout the rest of this year. We have a 7-year life in our current mine plan, but the M&I resources in this project are well over 20 years mine life. So stable and growing cash flow. So the highlights that we are showing people now, generate, as I said, $2.1 million in EBITDA on a monthly basis. We have a pathway to increase production at this mine by bringing on a flotation circuit that was 80% complete from the previous owners. So we think we could get it up to 3,000 tons per day if we go that way. And we're exploring a lot of process improvements to increase the metallurgical recoveries at CAMPO MORADO. CAMPO MORADO is a challenging volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit in that precious metal recoveries are low, but we believe that we have a pathway to really increase those based on previous testing from the former owners of the mine. Exploration potential, CAMPO MORADO is very good. If we get healthy enough and can start drilling again, we expect to double our resources, and maybe we can build this mine and increase the size of it to 5,000 tons a day. It's a long-term approach. This would be over a 5-year goal, but we would like to try and get there. It just requires us to drill. At TAHUEHUETO, construction on this project is over 80% complete now. We expect to have it up and running near the end of this year, starting with one ball mill, around 500 tons per day, bring the second ball mill online in the first quarter of next year, and then start to ramp the mine up to commercial production of 1,000 tons per day, anticipated Q3 to 4 of next year. But we will be in production near the end of this year, initial pre-production. Revenue from this project is, TAHUEHUETO is 70% of the revenue will be from gold, 12% from silver, and the rest from base metals. And here we have a very good pathway to increase our resources and reserves, and I believe we can double the size of this project in 2 to 3 years and maybe triple the size of it in a 5-year time frame. We simply need to start drilling again, and the exploration results will come in fast and furious. So once we get TAHUEHUETO up and running, we would expect to have a re-rating as a precious metal producer. Right now we're rated as a zinc producer, but TAHUEHUETO will double our revenues and will get us to the threshold to be deemed to be a precious metal producer because of the high gold content at that mine. Currently, we're trading about 1.6 times enterprise value over EBITDA. That's a strong discount to all of our peers that are operating in Mexico these days. So we really believe we can get this company turned around, bringing TAHUEHUETO into production. Strengthened management team. We've a very strong management team. A lot of new directors came on board. I won't spend a lot of time on this because we are short in time here, but I'd like to point out David Rhodes. David Rhodes is our chairman of the board. He's the managing director of Endeavour Financial out of the UK. Endeavour Financial has raised billions of dollars for mining companies. We've hired that group as our advisor, and David is our chairman of the board. Mark Bailey, a lot of you might know Mark Bailey. He was operated, founder of Mine Finders in Mexico. He's now retired, but giving us lots of good help. And then over on the other side, I'll just quickly touch on Ruben Alvidrez. Ruben Alvidrez is from a very strong, prominent mining family in Mexico. His brother is the CEO of Fresnillo, and his father, now retired, was a senior officer of Peñoles. So Ruben has been a great help to us with his contacts in getting contractors for our TAHUEHUETO construction. A very good team. Down at the bottom, we've recently brought on Armando Alexandri. He is a mine builder in Mexico, lots of experience in building and operating mines. So a very good, strong team, and this should help us avoid any future difficulties moving forward. Outline TAHUEHUETO very quickly. So TAHUEHUETO is a big epithermal system. This is our resources, probable reserves of about 3.2 million tons, a high-grade gold content of 3.4 grams per ton gold. This will make us one of the 3 to 4 top highest-grade gold producers in Mexico once we're in operation at CAMPO MORADO. We have 41 silver plus base metals, and that's in the reserves. That gives us a 10-year mine life, and the M&I resources would double that. The reserves are included in the M&I resources there, but that could give us up to 20 years at 1,000 tons per day. So we already have the ability to investigate the possibility of expanding the size of this mine from 1,000 to 2,000 tons per day. As I mentioned before, 42,000 ounces of gold equivalent on an annual basis. 25,000 of that will be gold, and we believe this will be a very low-cost underground mine at around $800 per gold equivalent ounce for production. A few pictures to show our construction. So we're really getting quite advanced. The ball mill's in place, the first one over in the camp. Down in the lower area is the filtration, and the mill in the middle. That mill you see in the middle is actually on the Metals Investors magazine that has been handed out to guests at the conference here. This is the project. So TAHUEHUETO is a large epithermal system. It's, as we know it right now, it's about 12 kilometers long, the overall district, by 8 kilometers wide. We own probably around 83% of the prospective ground within that district. Our only competitor is Fresnillo, has a sliver of ground around that internal block of concessions you see there. The red line indicates the only area that we've really drilled and contains resources and reserves. The yellow lines represent other known structures, veins that need to be explored. We have drilled 6 holes on that Texcalama zone, and we've hit similar mineralizations we see along our major structure. That major structure has only been explored between the Cinco de Mayo down in the valley up to Santiago over the other side of the hill. You see there's a gap in between that line. There's an overlying cover. We couldn't drill there. I believe that area could bring in another third to our resource potential by getting underground and drilling that. It's too difficult to drill from surface. That structure goes all the way down into the arroyo. That's about a 3.4 kilometer distance between Cinco de Mayo to the arroyo. And I believe it also continues to the south underneath that overlying cover rock, potentially another 2 to 3 kilometers to the south. That would give that structure over 7 kilometers, over about 6 kilometers potential strike length. The district itself we have mineralization over 7.5 kilometers in various veins. So lots of potential here. Next slide will be a longitudinal section along that red line I just outlined. So that's what the ore bodies look like at this point in time. If they're outlined in that little blue color, that's a reserve. Where they're not outlined, it's a resource. So from here, you can see we've got some infill drilling to do to increase the confidence in the M&I to try and bring that into a reserve. But between the zone Creston and Santiago, you see that's the area we have not been able to drill because of overlying cover. Our plan will be to develop underground through to the Santiago zone and start drilling that area, and that should bring in a lot more resources, reserves, potentially a third to what we have now, in my opinion. And below, we still have not found the limits of the mineralization. They're simply too costly to drill below this area at this point in time. So our deepest hole is about 450 meters underneath the 14 zone and hit ore grade mineralization, but isn't in the resources that the intersection is too far away. So lots and lots of potential to increase reserves and resources along this one structure and all of the previous structures I just showed you to go after on the project as we get ourselves up with more cash flow and able to start drilling again. Quickly into Campo MORADO. This is the sixth largest zinc producer in Mexico. That's the mill you saw there. Memonite Resources here, there's never been a reserve because the former owner was Nearstar and never had to publish a 43-101 report. However, M&I Resources 16.6 million tons at a fairly high-grade gold content of 1.7 and high-grade silver. The problem is here, we only get about 20%. We've increased the precious metal gold recoveries from 15 to 20% recently, and we've increased silver recoveries from the 40 to the 50% recovery. Still not very good. So we have a lot of work to do, and we are actually working on a very extensive metallurgical testing program to try to increase those. Here we have a 20-year mine life, 77 cents per pound all-in sustaining cost for zinc equivalent, and on a $2.2 million on a monthly basis in EBITDA over the first 6 months of this year. Photos, tailings facility being expanded in the lower left. I'd like to draw your attention to the lower middle slide. There's a yellow flotation circuit there. That flotation circuit was 80% complete in its construction with the former owners, and we have the ability to bring that back or put that into production, which would increase our capacity by 1,000 tons per day. So we could be potentially producing around 3,000 tons per day. But there may be a better way to increase the production capacity at this mine. And that is, in the next two slides I'll show you. Strong production growth at Campo MORADO. The histogram in green shows the production over the last several quarters, steadily increased revenues, increased our production level. We're flattening out over on the right-hand histograms at 2,000 tons per day. We don't see a lot more increase in tonnage. However, the zinc prices, base metal prices have been increasing steadily, so we have a lot of ability to continue to bring in more revenue. So when I mentioned that flotation circuit, you can see it up here on the left-hand side. That's one we can increase production by 1,000 tons per day. And all we would need to do is do another engineering study and look at that and see whether it makes sense. However, there's been some previous testing on increasing gold recoveries, leach ox process, Albion process, which is a forced oxidation and leaching. It's gone through first phase testing at Campo MORADO with excellent results. So you can see here the leach ox testing has increased precious metal recoveries up to for gold up to 61%, for silver up to 81%. This has gone through first phase testing with excellent results by the previous owners. We want to take that through second phase testing. In addition, we're investigating pneumatic flotation, which is a flotation method that's designed for microfine grinding and that does a better job to recover metals at microfine grind levels. So we're testing that now. We have one pilot plant on site. It's the IMOFLOT flotation pilot plant. It's been in testing for about a month and a half, and then we're bringing on a Jameson cell. We're going to test that. The theory here is that if we can make these work, that we can increase our base metal recoveries, and in doing that we'll increase our precious metal recoveries substantially. So we get about 70% recoveries of zinc, we get about 40% recoveries of lead, and we're going to start to produce a copper concentrate next year. We have not been doing that. So if this pneumatic flotation works, we would expect better increase in recoveries. As well, we're testing the ability to produce a gold-rich pyrite concentrate that we could either sell or that we could reduce the mass of the tailings by making a pyrite concentrate and doing a forced oxidation and leaching with that technology. We expect to be able to really recover a lot more of our precious metals. This is a process that's going to take us several more months, maybe 3 to 4 or 5 months to get through. But if it works, then we will be able to really turn CAMPO MORADO into more precious metals and increased base metals and absorb any downward trends in zinc prices which aren't on the horizon or the near horizon, but it would make this mine much more profitable in lower base metal environments. So if that leach ox testing or precious Albion process testing, either one of those works, then we have the ability to reprocess the existing tailings facility, and that has over 280,000 ounces. This is not 43-101 compliant. This is based off of previous production records. We have all the daily production records. We know the grades going into the tailings, the tonnages going into the tailings. We've calculated 280,000 ounces of gold equivalent with just gold and silver within the tailings, so that could be another revenue source, assuming that the forced oxidation leaching technology works. Near-term growth potential at TAHUEHUETO for exploration, excellent project, lots of targets to go after, and we believe that with exploration success we can have further increases and expansions. This shows you some of the exploration potential. The lower image shows the existing ore bodies as we know them. Underneath them there's a lot of borehole geophysical targets. These were all from the previous owner. They're drill ready. All we need to do is set up and start drilling from underground. And in fact, the previous owner did drill some holes and intersected decent intersections of thick, massive sulfide zones. So those need to be followed up, and we would hope to develop new ore bodies underneath these existing ore bodies. And then on a property scale basis, what I just showed you was just within that little blue ellipse. The rest of the the rest of these ellipses represent geophysical, geochemical anomalies that need to be drilled. They're drill ready. And once again, we were healthy enough to start drilling again. We expect to be able to bring in new massive sulfide bodies outside of the existing ore bodies.